All right, welcome everybody. I'm going to call the regular meeting of the Highland Park Plan and Design Commission to order on today, January 7th of 2025. Let's see, we have a few new members, so when we call the roll, perhaps Director Fontaine will introduce our new members for us, or just after.
Yes, whichever you'd like. Just will recognize Kristen Imchek and David Fettner as two new members to the Plan and Design Commission.
All right, welcome, both of you. We look forward to working with you. All right, go ahead and call the roll then.
Okay. Commissioner Imchek?
Present.
Commissioner Fettner?
Present.
Commissioner Nanis?
Here.
Commissioner Henry?
Here.
Commissioner Mantis?
Present.
Vice Chair Kirsch?
Present.
And Chair Moore.
Present.
I also recognize the Student Representative Mendoza, City Council Liaison Lidower, and Corporation Counsel Martinez. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
We have a quorum.
Yes, wonderful. Before we start our meeting, I would like to note that one of our previous commissioners, Denise Arnold, passed away back on November 8th. So I would like to take a moment to recognize her. Denise came to us with a background of architecture and many years on many commissions, both in Highland Park and down in the city. I appreciated her calm deliberation of all the issues that came before us, and I would like us to take a moment of silence to recognize her. Thank you so very much. Okay.
Madam Chair, just
Oh,
one
yes.
minute. I think that, Councilmember, did you want to?
We just, because your appointments come through the city council and whatnot, she went through the same process you all did, and her professional work coupled with the service that she provided to the city was just outstanding. So we really, we appreciate what all of you do, and it was just tragic that at such a young age we lost her and her service. And I have to tell you honestly, we were just discussing this. She literally served on this commission and came to the council to ask for the ability to have more absences than permitted. And she served until about a month and a half before she passed away. So that's what I call dedication above and beyond.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. All right, the first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from December 17th, 2024. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have any seconds?
Second.
All right, do we have any discussion? Because I know that Planner Burhop has a comment for us.
Yes, the minutes on page number 5, comments made by the council liaison, Lidower, it should be 2.5 million more, not 2.5 million total.
Okay.
2.5 million more to go to the east,
To go to the east. Thank you.
because there was 2 different project abilities.
All right, thank you. So with that amendment to the minutes, are our motioner and our seconder okay with that?
Yes. Yep.
All right, please call the roll. Oh, sorry, we have a question down here.
I just want to certify for the record that I watched the recording of the previous meeting, so I feel equipped to vote on the minutes, if that's okay.
Okay, thank you. And
Same, I watched
Commissioner
the
Fettner?
video and certified that I am ready to vote on any matter and the minutes.
All right,
Thanks.
well, thank you. All right, would you like to call the roll, please? Oh, we don't.
We don't need a
I'm
roll.
sorry, we
for
don't
that.
call the roll. Someday I'll get this.
We can, but we don't have.
No, let's not.
Another year at least.
Voice vote?
Yes, of course.
Yes. With the amendment, yes.
Excuse me.
Brains on freeze.
Okay, so all in favor of approving the minutes with the change to the amount that was listed? All in favor? Aye. Any nays? All right, motion passes, the minutes pass. Okey dokey. A lot of practice, okay. The first item of business is a public hearing SPE-2024-00008 for a special exception requesting off-street parking and loading relief for a proposed restaurant with design review and variations at 565 Roger Williams Avenue. Mr. Burhop, do you have a presentation for us?
Yes, very
All righty.
brief. So this is the only slide that I have to present, unless, of course, there are additional questions. I do have the remainder of the presentation from December 17th. There are no changes to the plans or the request as presented on that date. So on December 17th, staff was directed by the Plan and Design Commission to direct findings of fact recommending approval. Those were in the packet. As part of that, staff did consider 2 conditions of approval that were included, which the commission can keep and adopt with it, can strike or can modify. That's just that the approval is only valid for the proposed restaurant land use, and then related to the footprint of the outdoor area, that it cannot be larger than that, and that it must be in substantial compliance to the plan that was submitted in terms of area. Those are my comments. If there are additional questions, I can certainly go to the prior presentation if needed. Thanks.
Does anybody have questions? Do we have any questions from the public on this matter?
I'm sorry, there's no design review yet, correct?
That's correct. So that's struck. The reason that was in the agenda title, because that's how it was originally done, and that's how it was originally noticed. But then through the process of discussing with the applicant, they struck that and they want to come back with that later if needed. That is correct.
And you do say in packet page 11 that, at the very bottom, under the design review, that there is no design review to be considered at this time. We will determine whether or not we need one after the application is submitted.
That's right.
All right, so, please come up. All right, please state your name.
I'm Rick Heineman.
Okay.
I live in Highland Park.
Okay, and you'll have 3 minutes.
I'm really excited about this proposal because
I'm sorry, can I please swear you in?
Sure,
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you. You have 3 minutes.
Very excited about this proposal. The building up of that TIF district is incredibly important to the school districts from a tax revenue perspective. The relationship between PTEL, the property tax limitation law, and the TIF district is a very interesting one in that the base of the amount that existed when the TIF was established like 20 years ago is the base, and then the end value that happens when the TIF is dissolved, which is in about 3 years, is the total amount that comes in as new construction. Then the tax rate is applied to that, and all of that money is then incremental revenue to the school districts and all the other taxing bodies. So anything we do that can increase the value of properties in the Ravinia TIF, and for that matter, the Briargate TIF, is vital to the school district's financial health, and we think this is terrific. Plus, as a citizen, I really like the idea of having our storefronts filled and having good businesses established in town. So I think that we should accommodate this request. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any more comments from the public? All righty, so our next move would be to approve the findings of fact, or motion to approve the findings of fact.
You want to ask if the applicant has anything else?
Does the applicant have anything for us?
If I may, then I would move we approve the findings of fact. Is this a recommendation? Is it?
Yeah, adopt the findings of fact.
Adopt the findings of facts recommending approval of a special exemption requesting off-street parking and loading relief for a proposed restaurant and variations with the 2 conditions as contained in the staff report.
Okay, and do we have a second?
Seconded.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Mantas. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Imchak,
Aye.
Commissioner Fettner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nanis,
Aye.
Commissioner Henry,
Aye.
Commissioner Mantis,
Aye.
Vice Chair Kirsch,
Aye.
and Chair Moore.
Aye.
The ayes have it. The motion carries. This item has been recommended for approval to the City Council. Thank you,
you.
Madam Chair. Thank you.
Alrighty, lots going on down in Ravinia because our next item is a sign variance for 582 Roger Williams Avenue. Anytime you're ready, Mr. Burke.
Thank you. Just to note, this one's a public meeting. It's not a public hearing. Yes, so this is a sign variance for Article 20 of the zoning code for 582 Roger Williams Avenue. So this is a photo, I think the applicant provided this, or either that is from Google Street View. So this is of the front of the building. It's zoned in the B2, in the B2RW zoning districts in the Ravinia Business District. So the proposal is to remove the existing wall sign that is on there now, and then put up a new wall sign. And this is considered one sign for purposes of the zoning code with one box around it, so to speak. The proposed sign, the dimensions are on my slide. They're in the packet. It's going to be just short of 30 square feet, which is actually less than what's there now. What's there now is approximately 54 square feet, which is right up to the maximum allowed given the area of the front facade. The relief, the request before the commission is to allow internal illumination. Also, the lights will change, but they will not flash. This is supposed to be kind of like a night rendering of what it will look like when it's lit up. This was also in the packet. This is an applicant photo. Now, I'll obviously, the applicant can speak on their behalf for this. I will just state though, there is that street lamp in front of the building, which does have a light, which does then wash. This is a city street lamp, and it's right in front of the building, and it does wash on the building. Because you can see here, this is a photo the applicant submitted, how there's currently gooseneck lighting above, down upon the sign. This is an aerial location of the map, or excuse me, of the site. The proposed sign is going on the front, which would be the north, facing Roger Williams Avenue. It is not facing any residential dwelling units. It's facing other commercial tenant spaces. These are the standards of approval. I will point out the first one, it talks about the requested variance is appropriate due to a particular hardship or special unique circumstance. Because when I read that originally, I just saw it's a particular hardship. I just want to point out, can also be due to a special unique circumstance. Of course, these were hyperlinked immediately to in the report for the commission to review. So the commission is a decision maker. The commission is authorized to decide this application. So the commission should discuss the proposal per the standards. This is a public meeting, not a hearing, but the commission should take any testimonies appropriate and hear from the applicant. Commission can approve with conditions, or modify, or deny, or continue to a future meeting. And that is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the applicant wish to speak? Oh, I'm sorry. First, do we have any questions for staff from our commission? Okay. Would the applicant like to come up and speak? You don't have to, but we'd like to offer the opportunity.
I'll start, let Corey talk you through this.
Will you please, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, and you too?
I do.
Okay, and then as you speak, please give your name, spelling your last name, so our minute taker can.
I'm Chris Walker, so I'm one of the owners of Ravinia Brewing, soon to be State Ravinia Brewing Company. So as fairly public, we are in the process of going through a name change, and as part of that, there is the need to basically rebrand and create a new sign. on the building. So in light of that, a couple things have changed since we put the original sign in, and I think as the presentation showed, there is now a street light, which is wonderful for many parts of the day, but it does wash out the current signage that we have. And the other side of this is, as also was pointed out, we are, for cost and other reasons, we are reducing the square footage on the sign. And so in order to just ensure that we're getting that same strong street presence, I guess we're asking for the variance to be approved in order for us to continue to serve all of you wonderful people beer and tacos. So, Corey?
Are there any questions about the sign itself or that I could answer?
Corey.
Oh, what was your,
Sorry, I'm Corey with IC Signs.
okay, thank you. Last name, please. Last name?
Corey Hock, H-O-C-K. H-O-C-K.
The sign gets turned off when the business is closed, correct?
It is not, that's not the current plan, but.
So it's gonna shine 24/7?
It will shine 24/7. We obviously could set timers, but I'm not sure we need to be attracting people at midnight to come out if that's a major issue. But obviously the goal of the sign is to let people be aware that there is a restaurant in the district. And so even if we close at 9 and someone drives by at 10, we'd like them to be able to see it. There will be you won't be able to see the sign at all if it's turned off.
Thank you.
I believe there's like a certain
Any more questions?
I have one question.
Mr. Mantis?
when you do eliminate.
Yes. So I was reading in the packet, the intention is to change the colors of the sign, but not on any type of daily basis. So it's not gonna be something where in the evening it's switching colors.
No, that's based on their branding and when they release a new brew, correct? And trying to brand that to like the new brewed colors, basically as a special promotion that goes with an event that they be throwing or that kind of thing.
Red for Valentine's Day and green for St. Patrick's Day. So.
All right, new Commissioner Imchek.
Did you all consider if there were any other ways that you could meet the code and also meet the goals that you're trying to meet with this sign, like such as doing pin mounted letters or another type of lighting that would allow you to be in compliance?
Well, with the current way that the sign is done, with the look of where it's at now, with the street light, that it really, all of those options pretty much will have the same look as what you got now. Doesn't help the purpose of what needs.
So even if it were painted differently, because I mean, part of the reason for the original sign is that it's like brown on brown, which is why it's really hard to see. And I wondered if you just went to a different color, if that would solve some of the problems. So if you went to a different color and kept the lighting that you have there, if that would, be sufficient.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
It's not from our belief and looking at the process and what's there and everything else. That street light shines right on the building and it clashes with any other type of lighting there.
Okay. Any more questions on this end? Commissioner Henry?
I'd like to ask Director Fontaine, is there any requirement in the code that requires lights, commercial lights to be turned off at a certain time?
Yeah, there's, in the code, the lighting has to, do you have the citation? Yeah.
So if I may, just to
It's
be
already in
clear,
the
in this zoning district, this is illumination for signage. It has to be turned off by either 11 PM or the time that the activity to which the sign pertains has closed for business, whichever is later. And so given that, I would put it to the commission that when the commission considers it, in addition, you should consider what was presented in the staff report, just the request that it be internally illuminated, but you should now also consider if they should be allowed to go beyond those hours. And again, those hours are either, that sign can be, by the code, it can be illuminated, well, assuming that internal illumination is granted, can either go until 11 PM or the time that the business closes, whichever is later.
Let me ask you a question on that, Carl, since I've followed up on prior comment. They're not asking for a variation from that. So presumably, if they just go with what they've got here, they're required to comply with what the code requires.
That's correct.
That's right, but they can amend that request right now, the way this
No,
was.
I'm just saying.
That's correct.
You're correct, yeah.
I mean, if they want to do that, that's up to them, and then we'll deal with it. But if it's not before us and they're not raising it, they're just required to comply with the code.
Correct.
Council Martinez has a comment for us.
Your Honor, spending too much time on it. I know. My interpretation is a little different, and let me know if I'm reading this wrong or in a different way. It looks like there's two triggers to that restriction on illumination. One, that it's located in one of these districts, B2, B4, et cetera, and two, that it's located adjacent to or contiguous to a number of specific streets. And so if it doesn't check off both of those boxes, then it doesn't have to, right, then that time restriction doesn't apply.
I have a question for the petitioner. On the old sign, did you leave it up all night, illuminated? Yeah.
Most of the streets.
Yep.
Good luck, but I'm pretty sure every sign on the street is illuminated all night.
Yeah.
Like Voyage is on all night, like they're all on all night.
Corporation Counsel, I agree with that further nuance to what Carl was saying. There is time in the code, but that he's right, that it does pertain to particular streets in that district.
Question.
Yeah, please.
Question, is there any particular reason that these types of signs aren't currently allowed in this business district yet are allowed in others in the city? Just from historical context, given I'm relatively new, just want to understand if there's any prior discussions there or it's just been on the books for a while.
This has been on the books for a while. That's correct.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Sure. Can anyone fill us in on the rationale behind allowing this type of sign in other districts, but not in this particular district?
Essentially, the districts that don't allow internal illumination, they're the business districts that are listed in the code, essentially like downtown area and these types of areas. They have generally been, the idea behind it is that externally illuminated signs are allowed. As you can see, they have the Ravinia sign. So this sign that's before you tonight, you know, if it wasn't internally illuminated in any fashion, it would just be allowed by right. We wouldn't be here. So the district itself, Ravinia, don't think there are any variances that we're aware of to allow for internally illuminated signs in that district, but there have been variances granted for internal illumination in other areas of the city. It's part of sign packages and other types of considerations.
One other question, Madam Zuz's windows in that location had like neon lights in the windows. What was that?
Yeah, that was.
Is that permitted? Is that, I mean, I know nothing about that, but I do know nothing about it.
A new sign like that would not be permitted by right now.
Got it.
I believe it went for, I had to get a variation.
Yeah,
to
I believe
approve
so.
it.
That was a while ago, yeah. That was
Yeah.
quite a while ago, yeah.
Any more questions from the commission?
None.
All right, so, does the commission wish to have any further discussion amongst itselves?
Madam Chair, if I may just make mention.
Sure.
We did work with the applicant sign consultant, and they did make some changes that you see here tonight. The sign itself is not an overly bright sign, is our understanding in terms of the luminescence, but, and it will not flash, which is an important thing. They will change colors from time to time. That's not of concern to staff. And I just wanted to add those two things to you. It is smaller than the current sign out there as well.
Okay, thank you.
If I may add just a quick note as an explanation there as well. To this type of sign, it's a push-through type of sign, so when the sign lights up itself, a lot of the illumination comes from the edges of the letters. So it's typically called an edge-lit sign. It's an alternative to doing a backlit halo letter that's fabricated. When you have a small letter like the brewing company and a small stroke or whatnot like that, that's typically when we'll move to a sign like this to get that edge-lit style, because you can't fabricate it, it's too thick or too thin, the stroke of the letter to fabricate when we build the letter. So this type of sign really honestly is in my opinion, a better looking sign than a halo lit sign because it looks very elegant when it's lit. We have other ones that we've done in the city that have gone through approvals, and it just has a nice look to it throughout.
So just one other comment, if I may?
Sure.
So that's a good point, and thank you for bringing that up. So channel letter halo lit sign would be allowed. We would consider that an externally illuminated sign, not an internally illuminated sign. So that's just picture a letter that's solid, no light within it, but then there's lighting behind it, backing, that makes it look like a halo, so that when at night you can read the letters, but they're not internally illuminated. They did move toward a sign type that is close to that, but technically does not meet that, and thus this is why they're before you here this evening. But that is a desirable sign type, and they did try to get to that, but for the reasons said, they did not quite go that far, and so it does need variation for the internal illumination. Okay.
Thank you for that additional explanation.
Yep.
All right, so I think our next step, did you have a question? Okay, would be looking for a motion to.
Public.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Is there any public comment? You may sit down.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any public comment on our sign tonight? All right, so let us,
If I may?
Oh, sure.
I would move we approve the sign variance for 582 Roger Williams Avenue with the two conditions of approval as stated in the draft certificate of approval.
and can you acquaint us with those two conditions, Carl?
Oh, sure. One moment, please. Actually, I should have had those in the
I can
presentation.
get it for you. The sign must be in conformance to the attached approved sign plans and drawings, and the sign must comply with size and method of illumination as stipulated in proposed sign package.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion by Vice Chair Kirch. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Fettner. Any more discussion? All right, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Imchek?
Aye.
Commissioner Fettner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nanis?
Aye.
Commissioner Henry?
Aye.
Commissioner Mantis?
Aye.
Vice Chair Kirsch?
Aye.
Chair Moore?
Aye.
The ayes have it. This motion carries. This item has been approved. This is a final decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to other business. The first item would be an information item. Are there any administrative design review updates?
Do not.
No, there are not.
Okay,
Take care.
sorry, I'm just catching up on my ads. Okay, next regular meeting will be January 21st of 2025. Would you like to update us with that?
Yep, there'll be one item for that. It'll be a zoning text amendment related to the inclusionary housing code and the fees or costs. I can't remember the exact, but it'll be something related to that.
Okay.
Impact fees.
Impact fees.
Alrighty, and then, do we have any case briefings?
I do not.
Okay, any business from the public? No new business from the public, okay. Nothing on the back. All right, adjournment.
Nothing on the
Big surprise. Okay, once again, everybody, thank you. Welcome to the new year. Thank you so much for being here. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, motion seconded already. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.